What's up, guys? So, as we know, the Cavs tied the series at 2-2. But of course, we all know that Game Five, like I said before, is going to be the game of the series. Like for me, I think whoever wins Game Five is going to win the series. Um, so I think it's a must-win game for the Cavs, and the Cavs have to figure out how to win a road game. So today we gotta. I'm gonna talk about the ways the Cavs can find a way to steal Game Five, because they have to steal Game Five. Of course, the first thing is very obvious: is the Cavs have to have a fast start. They gotta play. The Cavs play well when they're desperate, so they have to have a fast start. They can't go down 18-5, stuff like that. Go down double digits. In the first 3-4 minutes of the game and get the crowd going. That's road games. You can't get the crowd going. They need a strong first quarter from their stars, especially Mitchell. He's gotta dictate the game. Start off good. Start off with a strong first quarter, so everyone else can follow him. Um, of course, the Cavs. We have to lower our turnovers. We did in the last game. They had way more turnovers than we did. I think they had 18. We had like 11. So and we've seen in the first two games in Detroit, when the turnovers happened, the game started to get ugly fast, and that's road games. Road games get ugly fast, especially when you're just doing turnover after turnover after turnover after turnover. And we have to value possession. So, especially Harden, he has to do simple passes. Don't overdo stuff. Don't overthrow stupid lob passes. With one person in front of you, another person over there. You got to be smart with your passes. You can't do lazy cross court passes, lazy lobs that can be intercepted easily. So that's very key. The turnovers are very key for the Cavs. They have to. I mean, look, they're going to end up getting turnovers. It's part of basketball. It's going to happen, especially on the road. But you can't have 20. You can have 10, 11, like they did last game. But they can't have, and let them, and they can't be turnovers that lead to easy dunks on fast breaks and stuff like that. They need Donovan Mitchell needs to go. They need to utilize Donovan Mitchell on the pick and roll. Donovan needs to go downhill and attack like he did in game four. He needs to get to the rim, get the guys into foul trouble, cause the Pistons to force switches, and then once he starts going to the basket and they have to collapse the paint, the shooters will be open for threes and the lobs will be open. So let Donovan attack, obviously, and get people in foul trouble and open the 3-point shooting. But I think most of all, the Cavs need to keep driving to the basket. They have to attack the paint, because usually, even though they're open, usually, the role players on the road team don't really shoot well on the road. It's the fans. The atmosphere is just different. So you're more what's the word I want to use? They're more. It's more nervy, basically. Um, and of course the role players have to show up. Like, not saying all the role players, like, okay, so Mitchell has to have a good game. Harden needs to have a good game. He needs to have like 20 points and some assists, but they have to have a third person who shows up. For example, like, it has to be either Strus or Mobley or Allen. Someone's got to show up. The third person is got to get them like 15 to 20 points. Just like Mobley got 17 points last game, that's more than enough. Um, like Mobley, I mean, I feel like Harden has to be the second top scorer. It can't be Mobley because Mobley has shown you that he's not ready for that. He doesn't want to be in that position. And another thing, which is the most important thing, I think, also is the rebounding. We've lost even though we won the last two games. We've lost the rebounding battle. We've lost the offensive, especially the offensive rebound. They have to find a way to get offensive rebounds. Defensive rebounds. They can't allow Detroit to get second chance points and get three possessions out of the same. Three chances out of the same possession. So defensive rebounds, they stop momentum. So they have to find a way to do that. They have to find a way to get the rebounds. Even though they didn't have a great game last game, they still beat us on the offensive rebounds. I think it was what's his name? That guy, I can't remember his name. He came off the bench and he brought a bit of spark to the Pistons. Can't remember his name. He took Duran's place. I can't remember his name. The Cavs also can't allow Detroit to go on runs. Look, Detroit are going to go on runs. They're going to go on one or two runs. They're playing at home. They feed off the crowd. But you can't let them get 4 or 5 huge runs like they did in the first 1 or 2 games. Like I could count countless times in which they went on 10-0 runs and 8-0 runs. You can probably, it's going to happen at least 1 or 2 times because the Cavs tend to always, when they have a lead, or they tend to always go on a small stretch in which they can't score, and then the Pistons end up going on these runs. So it's going to happen. And I know the Cavs are always a bit, they go 5-minute droughts without scoring, but they can't allow more than at least 1 or 2 runs, and it can't be a 10-0 run. It's got to be like a 6-0 run. They can't allow that. And of course, they got to try to find a way not to get Detroit on the foul line, because road whistles are tougher than home whistles. The home team always gets the whistles more than the road team, and it showed in the last 4 games of the series. The first 2 games, Detroit got the calls. Last 2 games, Cavs got the calls, and they can't allow it. They can't allow it to play in their head and start arguing with the referees. They're getting frustrated, and they can have rush possessions. There are a lot of rush possessions in the first 2 games, especially with Harden. Trying to do too much and be fancy. Just protect the ball. You have to be too cocky and do all these try to do all these back passes and all this other stuff. So basically, in conclusion, the Cavs don't need to be perfect. They don't have to have a perfect game. They just need to be disciplined. They need to protect the ball, and they need to let Harden and Mitchell control the ball, and they can steal one. That's the way they're going to win. And of course, one more thing, and of course they have to play the same defense they were playing on Cunningham. They can't allow Cunningham to dictate the offense. They were pressing him from the beginning of the court all the way down to the half court. The half court pressure, full court pressure. They doubled him. They let him get into the groove in the last game, and they need to do the same thing. I would let any other player beat us than Cunningham. It's fine. Let Tobias Harris get his points. Let other people get their points, but don't let Cunningham dictate the pace of the game.